Hey everyone, if you're watching this, I'm Matthew Robinson, and you're probably seeing this because you just finished watching part 2 of The Adventures of Matthew Robinson, the movie. Now this is my video commentary segment. To start things off, let me answer some questions that some of you guys have sent me via private message about this movie. It was about the opening credits and the logo. I was asked how long it took to make the logo and the opening credits. Actually, I only designed the logo. I had the logo in my head for about 4 or 5 years. I had that logo idea in my head. And then a guy by the name of John Martin, who worked with Artworks, a company which I also worked for that same summer, he brought the logo to life using a 3D creation system. I cannot remember what he did. I'll try to get in contact with him and find out which system he used, but I can't remember exactly. Total time of me explaining what it looked like and giving him designs and drafts. It actually didn't take him that long, but because of the rendering time it took to make the animation, and also because there were several other projects we were working on at the time, it took him about a couple of days. But in actuality, if you actually put the hours down, it probably only took him about 2 hours to do it, not including the time it took to render. May not even take it that long. For as far as the opening credits, I used Flash, just simple Microsoft Flash, and it was like, I forgot what version number it was, but I used Flash, and I was new to using Flash. It took me about 3 hours, and I was also simultaneously doing some other stuff on the internet and working on my artworks project, basically just working on my artworks project. But yeah, I was working on that, and that took me about 3 hours. Luckily I did that after that, because the next day they said we couldn't do personal projects with the Flash system during the Artworks time anymore. So I just barely got to that. If I had done it a week earlier, or a week later, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I would have had just something else as my opening. Probably something similar you saw in The Adventures of Matthew Robinson 2, and that will be on YouTube probably sometime next year. Now, this was one of my favorite scenes to film. This was the scene with Hamlet and the Bay of Pigs, and that metaphor, I forgot where I came up with it, but I thought it was just a funny thing to kind of put in there, and a lot of people really like that, especially a kind of a older demographic, I guess mature audience would say the best. I would say 30 and over, this is probably one of their favorite scenes. They just really, for some reason, like Hamlet and the Bay of Pigs, and I'm not trying to single them out. There are a lot of people who are under the age of 30 who really love that scene. That scene was done in my AP English class. My teacher, Mrs. Briggs, was kind enough to let me film in class one day with all the students in the class. And the students of the class, thank you so much. A couple of those guys are in more parts of the movie. Some of them even helped me write it. If you watch carefully around there, the movie is called Rock of Manhood. The movie production, one of the sub-production companies of this is called Rock of Manhood. And that was like a little AP English group that we came up with. We got in circles and we talked about the Rock of Manhood. We were one of the few men in the class. The class was actually pretty evenly split, but it was a lot of books on like female and women's rights. So we had formed the Rock of Manhood. The guy who kind of put up his hands like this, that's Connor Wetzel. He helped come up with the story. Jesse Holdish, you'll see a lot more of him. He helped a lot with the story. He's a really funny guy. Graham Bytro, who was talking about Cannibal Corpse, he also helped come up with the story. David Sanborn, who was trying to sing the final countdown, he also contributed a good deal to the story. They were all a big help. Everyone in the class, I think, at one point or another gave an idea, and I just kind of took that. Some ideas I didn't get to use, but a lot of it I did get to use. And then when they were great, none of them are trained actors, but they did a really fantastic job with that scene. Then the next scene that you saw was in my house, and we were discussing and planned and to save Clayton. That was probably it was probably one of my favorite scenes as well. I think that scene was. I think my actors had the most fun filming that scene. I think that scene was when my actors were really having a lot of fun off camera. So yeah, now these two scenes are build up. The next scene you'll be seeing is a very, very, very well done scene. This scene had people laughing out loud when they were reading the script. and that'll be in part 3. You'll see that soon. But part 2 was really fun because we got to use the school, which was a big deal. I didn't think I was going to get to do any scenes in the school, but my teacher was kind enough to let me do it. It was near the end of the year, so we didn't have a lot of classwork to do. And we got out of the way. There actually was going to be more classroom scenes originally slated, but we didn't get around to it. So we only had that one scene. But I think it turned out really, really well. And I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. Remember, if you have any questions you'd like to ask me about any of the stuff you've seen from part 1 or part 2, send me a PM or leave a comment and I'll answer it in the next video. I'm having a lot of fun posting these videos. I can't wait for you guys to see more of it. Thank you for watching. Please tell your friends about this and spread the word. Alright then. I'll see you later. Until next time, remember, it's all in the hair.